Hello, and welcome to the Hive Mind podcast, where the collective wisdom of the travel industry helps you match travelers with the right destinations and the right hotels. I'm your host, Whitney Schindler, founder and CEO of The Hive, a platform designed to give travel advisors organized, actionable insights you can put to work right away. Each week, I sit down for focused, real-world conversations with travel advisors, hoteliers, and supplier partners who know these places inside and out. We break down how each hotel is best suited to a specific client profile, take quick deep dives into destinations, and share pro tips to help you make the most of the Hive. And here's the best part. You don't need to take notes while you listen. Go about your day, tune in, and know that every insight from these conversations is already captured and organized inside the Hive, so it's there when you actually need it. And if you aren't in the Hive yet, you can get resources from this and other episodes when you join our newsletter at thehive.travel/podcast. Today's episode is part of the Stay Guide, where we explore multiple hotels in a single destination to highlight their unique strengths, differences, and the clients they're best suited for. Today, we're focusing on Curaçao, and while there are many properties on the island, we'll be diving into these 5 properties: Lions Dive Beach Resort, Scuba Lodge and Ocean Suites, Kentucky Beach Resort, Avila Beach Hotel, and Bawassa Luxury Resort. The goal isn't to rank or compare, but to give you the clarity and confidence to guide your clients with ease. Joining us to discuss their experiences staying at these properties and conducting site inspections is Lee Friedman, owner of Mango Tree Travel, and Lauren Tilley of Tailored Oasis. Let's dive in. Lee and Lauren, hello. Welcome to the podcast. I'm super excited. Today, we're going to be diving into hotels in Curaçao. Lee, welcome. So good to see you.
Thank you. You too.
Lauren, I'm thrilled to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So the hotels that we're going to be talking through today on this small little island of Curaçao, there's actually quite a few hotels. So we won't make it through everything today, but we are going to talk about Lions Dive Beach Resort, Scuba Lodge and Ocean Suites, Kentucky Beach Resort, Avila Beach Hotel, and Bawassa Luxury Resort. So first, to dive in to Lions Dive Beach Resort, Lauren, is that right?
Yeah.
Did I note that down right? I don't know why. I was looking at my notes and all of a sudden I was like, I think I messed up. No, Lions Dive Beach Resort. Right. Lauren, you cited it. Tell me about first impressions. So as you're planning all of these site inspections while you were in Curaçao, Lions Dive Beach Resort made the cut. So I want to know why you wanted to see it even before you got there. And then when you arrived, what you felt kind of first impression wise.
Honestly, I wanted to see it because I knew it would be a property for families. I don't do a whole lot of families, but I wanted to have that option there. And I do think it's a good fit for them. And divers. They have a dive shop on site that has been open, I think, the longest running dive site on the island. So okay. That was 2 of the main reasons that I really wanted to see it.
So a great family option, whether you have a lot of families or not, it's always just kind of good to have in your back pocket what the option might be. Do you work with a lot of divers?
I don't, but it's Curaçao. So I was like, I have to see it while I'm there.
Like to at least understand, because I don't sell a lot of Curaçao, but I imagine just seeing how many dive options there are, that if the suggestion of Curaçao comes from you guys or from the advisor, that it might not be about diving. It might just be a great destination to visit and an option to consider for your next trip. But if a client comes to you and specifically says Curaçao, 50-50 chance is they know about the diving and they might be interested to dive.
Right.
Okay. Right. Perfect. So Lee, I know that you did not see rooms at Lions Dive Beach Resort, but you kind of did a drive-by. I did. You had the drive-by experience. So tell me from your standpoint, while you're at home making the short list of the properties that you at least want to touch on, drive by, get a sense of what it's all about. And then when you did see the little that you saw, tell me first impressions and why it made your short list.
I really like the beach area that it's near. You know, when you start looking up Curacao and trying to learn the destination, some of the things that come up for families are the aquarium, and Lions Dive is right near the aquarium. It's Mambo Beach, which sort of has the sort of like Miami Beach vibe in Curacao. So you're like, oh,
Okay.
and then there's a restaurant on the property, a beachfront restaurant called Hemingway that comes up a lot on like family friendly restaurants. So based on all those three things, it's sort of like you're kind of going to find your way to this beach at some point anyway. So we ate lunch at the restaurant and I went to see it for that reason. But I knew that like location wise, it was probably going to be a popular area. And so I wanted to sort of get a feel for the area at least, even if I didn't have a chance to see the rooms and sneak around the outside.
Perfect. So you snuck around the outside of the property. If
Yeah.
Lions Beach, if you're listening, just invite Lee over next time. She's nice. She's not scary. Be like, who's this woman around the fence over there?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So Lauren, talk to me about, as you're walking through the property, getting to know about the offerings a little bit. What impressions did you gather professionally? Were you having some thoughts of like, okay, this would be great for this client profile, but maybe not the best for this other client profile? What kind of takeaways did you develop through your site inspection experience?
So after being on property, it exceeded my expectations in the value proposition. Like they offer more than what I originally thought based on the pricing. Don't get me wrong, they have a lot of room categories, but their rooms are kind of just standard hotel rooms, which is okay sometimes for a family vacation, you know? But it was big. The property was really big, like bigger than I expected. And like Lee said, the proximity to Mambo Beach area, you have so many walkable restaurants, activities. I mean, even though I recommend renting a car in Curacao and exploring the island, you almost don't have to there if you didn't want to.
I agree with that. Sure.
So the location very much became a big part of the value proposition for this particular property.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think when you think about Curacao too as a destination, there's a lot of activity. It's a really lively island. It is not like a go have a peaceful stay at a beautiful long white sand beach. And there are some hotels that are a little bit set off from the action where you can have a bit of a peaceful place to return back to and then go back out and explore the island. And there are some hotels that are sort of right in more the center of the activity. I'd say this is probably the beach resort that I saw that is most like in the center of the activity. Like Lauren said, you can walk to shops, you can walk to dining, you're on the beach, you can go to the aquarium. There's a lot in that area that you could do. And it's a really pretty beach too. It's a bit of like a cove beach, but it's like a very good central location.
And there's shore diving right off of that beach. So even if your kids don't scuba, do diving, they can snorkel right off the beach right there. They have one of the I think they have a handmade natural reef right off of the beach right there. Yeah. It's really flexible and convenient.
This is like such a good example of a hotel option that it's like when you first pull up the website, your first impression of the website or photos of the rooms might not interest you to dig deeper. I haven't seen the website, but just what you mentioned, like the rooms are pretty standard, straightforward. Like these are Instagrammable, like room decorations we're talking about. The value prop here is you are in the middle of everything. Very, very walkable. You could absolutely get away with not having a rental car if you don't want one. You can snorkel right on the beach. It's one of the main beaches of Curacao that you're going to want to go to anyways. So everything I'm hearing you describe is like, yes, you're sleeping here, but the value prop is in everything around it.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is really helpful context to understand, because everything that we're describing is exactly what we would go tell clients if we include this hotel in a proposal,
I should qualify, since you want our opinions. For me, the location is why I don't propose this hotel. I think I like Curacao. I like the hotels that give you a little bit of a break from the hectic. This resort is really fun for me to go to lunch, to go see the restaurant, to enjoy that beach, to go to the aquarium. I would not want quite the chaos level of staying on that beach. It's very European. There's lots of beach shares, there's beach clubs, but it's a little much for me. So I actually typically don't propose it for my families. But I think if someone wanted to be right in the heart or like not rent a car, I think it is like a good option. But
and this is exactly what this is exactly what that guidance is all about, right? Like either you know your clients and you know that they are looking for this or they aren't. Like it feels like a very black or white, especially when it comes to like the energy around like a neighborhood. Or you're getting to know your clients and instead of describing hotels, you're describing energies. Like, is this the kind of vibe we're looking for? Or is this the kind of vibe you're looking for? And they're essentially answering the hotel question while actually answering the energy question.
Yeah.
And I think that is a trade-off of this property. The noise from being so close to Mambo Beach. Obviously, I wasn't there at night, but I have heard that mostly Fridays and the weekend, it can get loud during the nighttime. And two, this is the main tourist area. So all your cruise ships that are visiting, they sell day passes to cruisers. So that's another thing to consider.
So, and the cruises are probably in this area, in the Mambo Beach area, because this is where the shops are, the dining is, the main beach. Okay. Yeah. Super helpful. Lauren, in terms of your site inspection, you mentioned that the property was much larger than you anticipated. Are there any other components that we can chat about, just whether it's restaurants, spa? Do they have any area on the beach that is providing services through the hotel directly, or are you just kind of thrown out into the public situation? Like, what about some of these other components of the hotel?
I don't believe they have beach service. It really is a large focus on diving. They have boat dives. They offer paddy courses.
Okay.
They have the shore diving. But I mean, there's a lot of restaurants and activities on property other than that too.
So if a client wanted to be in the mix of everything, wanted to be in the energy, did not want a rental car. So like, okay, like maybe Lions Dive is good for you, but they're like, I'm not going to dive. I'm not a diver. I'm not interested in being a diver. Would you still send them to Lions Hands?
I think it could be a fit, but it would have to be the right client, like Lee said, wanting to be in the middle of that action.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they have a restaurant on property, or are most people just leaving? They do.
It's good. And it's like right on the beach. And you could we ate lunch. Our kids played in the water. It was like lovely. It was like a really wonderful place to have like lunch with kids. Like it's a great.
You ate at their restaurant?
Yeah, I ate at their restaurant. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah. That's amazing. So their restaurant is also one that's worthwhile for you to consider, even if you're not staying there.
Yep, definitely. It's like a great spot to go have lunch, let your kids run around. You're right near the aquarium. So for my clients, I always recommend that they go to the aquarium and then they go have lunch at the Lions Dive Hotel restaurant. And then there's a great beach access. It's like a great thing to include in an itinerary for sure.
And I do think it's worth noting that it's not all inclusive. They do have half board, full board meal plans. But it's not easy to come by a true all-inclusive on the island, period.
Correct.
So if somebody wanted the feeling of kind of paying in advance and not having to, look at every single meal bill for every meal and every drink, you can kind of create that at this resort with their meal plans. Amazing. Any other thoughts or ideas about Lions Dive Beach Resort before we move on?
Nope.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, Lee, you're up. You stayed at Scuba Lodge and Ocean Suites. Tell me how and why it made your shortlist, and then kind of first impressions upon arrival.
So I went to Curaçao pretty early building Mango Tree, and I was always on the hunt for like little boutique hotels that might be a good fit for families. I also was staying at Boaz, which at that moment in my life was like sort of out of my budget, which we'll talk about later. So I wanted to balance it. So I wanted to split our stay between something that was like really affordable and the luxury hotel. And Scuba Dive just kind of kept coming back up to me. It is like super Instagrammable. So Lions Dive is one of the main beach areas. Scuba Lodge is right in town in the heart of
Okay.
Willemstad, which is where all the
Okay.
restaurants and things are. And it's known for being very colorful. If you look at pictures of Willemstad, it's like a little
Yeah.
colorful postcard. And Scuba
Mm-hmm.
Lodge is one of the most colorful buildings. So, like, I think it has 3 buildings. They're
Oh,
each a different color. So, if you look at the Instagram profile for Scuba Lodge, like, it just sets itself up for really beautiful, cool
it's really
pictures.
pretty. Here,
It's like
I'm gonna
really cute.
share.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
know, it's
share my
super
screen
cute.
because now we've got cute hotels.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Super
these are the
cute,
three
right?
buildings.
Yeah, so those are the 3 buildings. And it's right in town. And they had a super
Look at
affordable two
that.
bedroom suite. So I was like, I'm gonna
Okay.
stay in this 2 bedroom suite and see what this hotel is all about. So that's
That is
what got me.
really adorable.
Yeah, it's like super, super cute. So
And
that's
I
why
mean, just from this photo, it seems like it also has like a nice sense of place.
it does
Like you
very much
feel
so.
like you're in Curacao.
Yes, yes, you do. And like you're like in the heart of like the restaurant scene and the colors and the diving, right? It's called Scuba Lodge. So but I wondered, there are a lot of obviously it's a dive hotel and my husband was gonna dive while we were there and while I watched our children, even though I dive too. And, uh
This is why you
but
have to go to Fiji where they give you nannies while you dive.
correct. Scuba Lodge does not give you nannies while you dive, but that's okay. But
Noted.
noted. They had a great 2 bedroom suite, and it was super affordable, and so I thought, let's stay there. So that's how I found my way to Scuba Lodge.
Okay, and so it made your short list. You arrive. First impressions. Was
I
it
loved it.
okay?
I took a video when I walked into our apartment that like showed the shot of like the little pool area and the ocean, and it was one of those videos on Instagram where people are like, "Where are you? Why does this hotel look so beautiful?" You know, where you're like, "Oh, I guess this place is really pretty." The 2 bedroom apartment was like great for a family. There was no air conditioning in the living room areas. That made it kind of tough to enjoy the space as much um, in the evenings, like when we wanted
Yeah,
to enjoy it. But there was air conditioning in the bedrooms, which was nice. And it
yeah.
overlooks this really pretty little garden area with a pool over the ocean. There's a restaurant I'm not sure, that's attached to the hotel, Dahiran, that has a little playground in the back. So like our kids were young when we went. So like we would go have breakfast or lunch and our kids would play on the playground. And it's not a family hotel, but it's one of these little hotels that for the right family, like super works because you get this affordable 2 bedroom apartment. You've got a restaurant with a playground. It is not the kind of hotel where you're going to spend your whole day there. The pool is very small. They are catering to people who are going to be out and about in Curacao and just want to come home to like a cute home base. But it really did
Yep.
provide at a very, very reasonable price point that cute home base. You're not right on the beach. You're on like a rock wall overlooking the ocean.
Okay, okay.
So you have to go out to find beaches. Like it's
So
not.
you got
Oh,
the ocean view, or like you can hear the waves nearby, but you're
yeah,
not walking barefoot to the beach.
correct, correct. And so those are the trade-offs for like but again, if it's the right family, not even just family, the right clients that want that in-town experience. Maybe they're divers, maybe they're just really on a budget, but like a cute boutique hotel, and are willing to kind of like rent a car, get out and explore. Uh, I think it's like a pretty cool option.
So I'm only asking this because I know you and I know how you find all these unique places. Is this accommodation working with advisors on a commission basis?
I don't actually know the answer to that. I've never booked it for clients. I've had people tell me they found it on my website and booked it and loved it, which is, a flaw in my business. So we all know. So I have right. I have the
Yep,
client
we're
feedback.
working through it.
We're
We're
working
working through
through
it.
it. I have client feedback that people have followed my advice and gone to this hotel and had really great experiences. But most of the clients who are hiring me, I don't usually propose it because I do have 2 other hotels on the island that are going to be the more traditional hotels for most of our clients. And so I tend to lean towards those, but I still like having this in my back pocket as a good option.
Okay, amazing.
I'm happy to find out if anybody wants me to, who's listening to this, whether they work with advisors, well, because I'm happy to reach back
Yeah,
out and ask them.
I mean, I think that there's multiple kind of aspects to consider. Like,
Yeah,
ultimately, if it's the best option for a family, we want them to know about it. we also are running businesses and need to get paid. So I don't think it's like a black or white, like, oh, I would never book it because they don't pay commission. I would just consider it like, well, if I'm working with a family who it's clear from the beginning that this might be an option, whether it's a budget or just a family who wants space or, whatever, maybe you increase your fee a couple $100, like, I don't know what you're talking about, how reasonable the rates are. So I guess for a long weekend, like you might be talking about what, $2,500, like $3,000, like
less than that, right? Yeah,
maybe. Right. So 10% is a couple $100,
right?
Exactly. So that
make
could
your judgment there on
that could be ameliorated in a fee, right?
Yeah.
So let's find out. And so now you have homework from this podcast recording. So that I can also put it on their Hive profile, because that is a question that we include on the Hive, is whether or not they pay commission, so that we can include these hotels that are like super boutique. They don't work with a lot of advisors, but like it's worthwhile for advisors to know about them. Also know that they don't pay commission. So you need to kind of plan accordingly.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'll find out.
Any other aspects about this property you feel are relevant? Do they have a restaurant? How's their like actual, I understand that like the positioning, the price point, the location, the size of the bedroom, all of these are kind of ticking a lot of boxes, but what about the actual, service and the team on property and this kind of stuff?
The team was great. It's been a couple years since I think they're in 2022 and 2023. But when I was there, the team was great. They kind of like went out of their way to help. The restaurant was great, really charming. All of it is like very like beautifully designed. We did family photos there because the setting was so good, and they were comfortable and happy. Like it's a great little. Okay. I forgot how much I liked it until I started talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, I really liked it there.
Okay. Let's hope that they pay commission. And then if they don't, that's fine.
Should send them this podcast, or maybe they will.
Yeah, exactly. Should we, any other things to share before we move on to the next hotel?
No.
All right. As travel professionals, our expertise is everything. But let's be honest. Too often it lives in scattered notes in our heads or gets lost after a site inspection or a client call. That's why I created the Hive. It's your expertise vault, a living library where hotel details, destination insights, and advisor takeaways are instantly accessible. And the best part about these conversations on the podcast, you don't need to take notes. Every insight you hear on the Hive Mind podcast is captured and organized inside the Hive. So whether you're just starting out, scaling your business, or leading a team, the Hive makes sure the knowledge you need is right there when you need it. Feel more confident, work more efficiently, and deliver a client experience that truly stands out. Learn more at thehive.travel. Lauren, coming back to you. Kontiki Beach Resort. How did it make your short list? And what were some of your first impressions?
Honestly, the reason why it made my short list is because I looked at it online and it looked like so jungly and so lush, and like that's my vibe. So I was like, I have to see it. I didn't know anything about it, but I knew I had to go, and it did not disappoint. Honestly.
Oh my goodness, I'm pulling this one up now too.
I'm learning something now. I'm excited.
You can see from my background that I'm into the jungly vibes. I found their homepage here. Okay. Look at how cute this looks.
Yeah.
So this part of the video is like their new luxury side that they're building. So it's actually less jungly than the let me see what they're called. They called them. So this part right here that you're seeing in the video is their what they call cabana rooms, and they each come like they have 5 different like lagoons flowing through the property, and each cabana building has their own like pool, and they kind of flow through the property.
It's big. Like the property footprint is big.
It is, but it doesn't feel like it when you're there.
Okay. So I see they have like apartments. They have standard rooms that look like a very standard hotel room, and then they have suites that have like pools and beautiful views. So like
they have about 100 rooms. I was just looking, so it's not so big. It's like
okay. So talk to me a little bit about like the room categories and the positioning and like because that might be one of the first kind of decisions to be made with the client, right? It's like don't just go to Kentucky and stay anywhere. It seems like just from first impressions that you want to be very mindful of what you're booking while you're there in terms of a room category.
Definitely. The cabana rooms are, when I was there back in April of this year, the cabana rooms were kind of dated, and I didn't hear of any plans for renovation on those. They are working on their new luxury side, which is the ones with the swim outs on the balconies that you saw.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Sorry, not swim outs, I guess plunge pool. Um, and during the time I was there, they had construction on another building going on. So that's something to consider too, with that side. But on the honestly, with the property overall, I probably wouldn't book anyone that had young children here. Um, the
Okay.
the lagoon pools are all like I guess lined with kind of like a natural rock that it was beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but it's almost kind of like, oh, that might be a safety concern,
Okay. Gotcha.
for smaller kids.
Right.
Um, and then, so as you walk through the property, you go through your cabana side, and then you kind of walk toward where it opens up into. They actually have 3 beach clubs.
Okay.
Um,
In one
so.
property, 3 beach clubs.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Right.
these people who are looking for beach club vibes, talk to me about the different beach clubs.
Yes. So the first one is called Wet and Wild. Take the name for what you will. Uh, uh,
Okay. Enough said.
that's going to be like your kind of more budget friendly, happy hour kind of vibes.
Okay.
And then Cabana Beach, they have beach service. It's kind of like your mid-level. You can eat breakfast there. They have weekly events like DJs and things like that. Um, and Cabana is included with the Lux accommodations. So you get if you book the Lux accommodations, you get a VIP section on the Cabana
And the
Beach Club.
Cabana Beach Club.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
then
So is beach club access, it's not included in all the room categories. So this is kind of an inclusion that you want to pay attention to.
it's just not the VIP section where
Got
you
it.
get the
Okay.
where you get the service.
And are all 3, if you stay there in any category, can you go to any beach club? Like you have access to all of them. It's the upgraded VIP location in the beach club that is like an added amenity.
Right, and the service, the
Okay.
beach service.
Okay. And when you're deciding which beach club you want to go to, is it just you wake up that morning and decide how you're feeling, or
What's your vibe
what's
that day? Do you
what
want to get wet and wild?
This is amazing. Okay, so tell me about the other beach clubs before I get distracted.
Okay, so the last one is the last beach club is Mood Beach, and that's your more luxe side. It's a little quieter. It still has, I don't believe it has service. It just has your regular area. No, I don't think it has a VIP section with, service. But it is going to be a little quieter. And it's the furthest away from the other side.
So when you say no service, you mean like food and drink?
Like
Is that what you?
like wait service. Like you actually have a waiter that you can order your drinks from.
Oh, got it. So I see on their website. Oh no, that's Cabana Beach. There's Wet and Wild. Okay. Yep. Okay. Wait. Okay. So I guess the first. Oh, so the first. Okay, Mood Beach. Here we go. enjoy drinks at the beachfront bar or head up to the shaded restaurant. Okay, I see what you mean. So like there are drinks and food like nearby, but no one's coming to your chair and like taking your order or bringing food back to you. It's like you walk up to the bar to get a drink, you walk up to the restaurant to get a meal.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. And then it says for Cabana Beach, order drinks and bites online from your sunbed. It says Cabana Beach offers excellent personal service to enjoy without ever leaving your sunbed. Order drinks and bites online. Yeah. They must have like a QR code situation.
Yeah, they must. They didn't mention that while I was there.
This is fascinating. I've never seen one hotel with 3 different beach club experiences.
And it is a different experience, each of them.
And so I assume that outside guests could also come to these beach clubs if they wanted?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so this is really important to know, A, for Kentucky guests to kind of, you don't need to make a plan necessarily in advance of getting there of like which beach club you're going to every day, do you? Or do you feel like that is a part of, no, okay. But it's also an option if a different hotel was a better fit for a certain client, but they were looking for a beach club day. These could be options, or are there other beach clubs on the island that feel better or that you would recommend more? Or do you feel like this could be the list of beach clubs they could consider?
I don't know of another beach club, Lee. Do you?
I don't. A lot of I'd say Curacao is pretty like European, like I think I mentioned that before. A lot of beaches have service, like chairs you can rent and like restaurants where you can order food and drink. So it is an island where you could go explore different beaches and get amenities there. But actual like beach clubs that feel that sort of like, I don't know of any. Mambo Beach, that's not true. Mambo Beach, I think, has some beach clubs.
It is on Mambo Beach.
It is also on Mambo Beach. So you're still in that lively area of Curacao. So that makes sense as to why they've got the beach clubs. I think Mambo Beach is sort of where the beach clubs are centrally located.
Okay, that makes sense then if it's on Mambo Beach and how they like are able to execute these 3 distinct experiences.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to the rooms and to the property itself. So, talk to me about the rooms. Like, what clients? You mentioned that you wouldn't recommend it for families with small children. Who do you feel like? What client profile do you feel is the best fit for Kentucky?
I think definitely younger couples or older couples, but they have to want a more lively atmosphere. Now, don't get me wrong, during the day in the around the cabana pools, which were up closer in the property that are a little bit further away from the beach clubs, it seemed pretty quiet. But I have heard that at night, several days a week, it's very loud.
Okay.
And they even put that on their website. It's pretty prevalent thing to consider with this property. Maybe friend groups may be a good fit.
Yeah, friend groups who also plan to be out late or not, no like 9 p.m. bedtimes at this hotel. That's what I'm hearing.
No.
Do they have a restaurant on site?
All of the restaurants, I believe, are located around the beach clubs.
Okay. And do they have a spa?
Good question. I didn't get to see one.
I mean, they might not, because on their website, I haven't seen anything yet that tells me that they do.
They have treatments, but it doesn't say if it's like a usable spa versus just like, can you have a massage on the beach or in your room kind of thing?
Yep, exactly. They do have treatments listed, and that's exactly what I was going to say, is that it might be kind of a treatment in your room. They do have a really large fitness center. That seems quite large. Okay, so actually I see here that they don't have a gym. It looks really big and beautiful and modern. It is access to a health club on the island that is complimentary for guests, which honestly is a super cool amenity anyways, whether it's on site or not. So That's good to know for guests who are looking for a gym. But that makes sense why you didn't see it, Lauren. Like, I didn't see you, Jim. Okay. Pools, rooms, dining, beach clubs, gym, and spa. Is there anything else specifically about this property to share just in terms of like their offerings? Or have we hit everything?
I think they have an all-inclusive plan, so
Okay.
it's not all-inclusive. Just you can book just room only, but they
Okay.
do have an all-inclusive plan.
Okay. Amazing. So, in terms of client profiles that feel like the best fit here versus ones that you might not send here, like what are your thoughts now that you're home? You visited, this major short list, you went, and now that you're home, when it comes to deciding whether or not to include this in a proposal or which clients are the best fit, kind of what are your lasting thoughts and takeaways regarding this property?
Really, I wanted to love it. I really did because it's beautiful. But for my personal preferences, the noise and constantly being in a social atmosphere isn't for me. So the perfect client would have to be somebody that's comfortable with that.
Always kind of being around not
Yeah.
just the noise on the property, but also as we were talking about Mambo Beach from the very beginning,
Yeah.
even when you step out of property, you're like in the energy in the property and you're in the energy off property is kind of what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. It's not
Which
secluded at all.
for an extroverted extrovert, it probably sounds like the best recipe. For me, I agree with you, Lauren. It looks like my vibe aesthetically. Like I love the jungle cabana thatched roof kind of look. Um, Knowing that there's going to be music late into the night and like a wet and wild beach club is not my personal vibe. So I think that this context is so helpful.
Come on,
Um,
Whitney. You know you want to get wet and wild.
I wish that I could say that I used to, and that's not even true. Even in my 20s, I was not the friend that you called for a wet and wild evening. I was the friend that you called for, movies and a bottle of wine. I have been that way since for my entire life. I wish I could be more fun and say that I used to be wild and I was not. Um, Lee, that's not the same for you. I know that. Lauren, I don't know, but now you're making me wonder if you used to be the Wet and Wild Beach Club
Oh,
type of.
well, we'll save that for another day.
This is fun getting to know each other on a podcast. Okay. Avila Beach Club. Lee and Lauren, you've both seen it. You've both visited. So I'm going to ask you both the same question. Lee, how did it make your short list to start off with?
Funny, I actually met a travel advisor on Instagram while I was in Curacao, and she reached out and she was staying there. And so we went and met up with her. And I was like really early in my career. She's still like one of my very good friends. So I was kind of on my radar to go see it, but then I found my way to go see it because she was staying there.
Amazing.
But
Okay.
it's also
Well,
just a great option. It's like Lion's Dive is sort of the same reasons I found myself there. I thought it was like a similar price point to Lion's Dive, looked like it had a similar beach area. I think they're actually quite different, but
okay.
those two hotels I think are often put next to each other as comparable. So I wanted to see that one as well.
Okay. I'm going to dig more into that in a second. Lauren, how did Avila Beach Club make your short list?
Honestly, it was the location.
Okay.
It's walking distance to several restaurants and bars, 15 minutes walk to downtown. Plus, they have a shuttle to downtown twice a day. But compared to being on Mambo Beach, you're not going to get that liveliness that you're going to get over on Mambo Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. It has a
Which,
private beach area instead of
okay.
very public beach area.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
and speaking of private beach, I think something worth noting is that I think all of the resorts that we're talking about today are on the eastern side of the island.
Yeah.
So pretty much all of your beach are going to have some kind of like rock wall break kind of thing from the waves.
okay.
So that's something to
Yeah.
think about.
Okay, I'm pulling up a map now so that we can visualize this a little bit better. This is really interesting.
It's like the
Okay.
south. Yeah.
And two, I think most of these resorts, restaurants are open to the public too.
They are.
Most of Avila Beach Club's restaurants, is that what you mean?
All of them.
No, all of the
All of.
resorts.
Okay, so Kentucky is here. Avila is there. Okay. Okay.
You can see
So
Boaz is right there near you too. Avila and
yeah,
Boaz are sort of
Boaz. Yep.
similarly located,
Here.
whereas the others were.
Okay, so when you say east, it's kind of
In
the
Curacao, they
southeast
refer
corner.
to they refer to the busy area there as the east end, and then they refer to see that undeveloped side all the way up as the west
Yeah.
end.
Okay,
And
good
so
to
that's
know.
just, yeah,
And Willemstad, the city, the main city is here.
it's right there in the middle. Yeah.
So the east end is also where the main city is.
Yeah.
Okay. So say this again, Lauren. All of the hotels we're talking about right now are in the east. And I guess I'm saying southeast, like by this side of the island. And so there's a rock. Tell me about the rock wall.
Pretty much all of the resorts that I saw had some kind of like break, like a wave break. And usually it was rocks. It was nothing like unappealing at any of them. It's just something that if you have someone that really wants just a beautiful, long, walkable, see forever beach, I I don't know
Don't
if
go to
this is the
Curacao.
place for them. Yeah.
Okay. So a wave break is like close to the beach or it's out in the water that it kind of creates like calmer water. I don't know that I'm envisioning this
Do
properly.
a quick search for Avila Beach Hotel and you'll actually see it. Their photos are great on their website and you can really envision what those like breaks look like. So if you go down a little bit, you see,
Sorry.
go back, okay, go back to images. Yeah. See how there's that rock wall? It was just showed it in
Got
the
it.
video really quickly.
Yes.
Definitely enough swimmable area.
Yeah. There you go. The hotel overview. Yeah. Avila in 20 photos. That's a good one.
This.
Yeah. The Avila in 20 photos. If you click on that.
I'm trying to open this. Oh, sorry. It took me to a new tab that
Yeah.
you couldn't
There you
see.
see how like halfway down the page, see how you can see those rock walls in the beach area?
It's here. Yeah. Got it. Okay. So it is the rock wall is out in the water, stopping all the crashing waves so that where you're swimming is very calm.
Mm-hmm.
Which means if you are someone who loves the crashing waves sound, you're also not going to get that. Like the
No.
like that kind of noise effect.
I think it's such a cool thing because one of the things Curacao is known for is its snorkeling and diving. And like what it means, like I love Avila since we're talking about this hotel because little kids can play in that calm beach area, but parents can snorkel around the edge. And it's some of the best snorkeling on the island, like right there. And so that's a neat thing because you've got these rock walls. They sort of do create these sort of like reef-like environments where you can snorkel right off the beach. And it's
Interesting.
Really cool.
Okay, that's fascinating. Lauren, thanks so much for sharing that because that's super
that's
unique.
A good point. Yeah.
And different than other islands. Okay, so Avila Beach Hotel. Lee, tell me just first impressions, like in terms of arriving, seeing the property, the beach, the room, the amenities.
Funny, my first impressions of the property were that it's fine. The beach is lovely. It felt a little bit more like a standard European hotel than it felt like a beautiful Caribbean resort. I say that, but I send multiple families here every year. So on reflection, I love this hotel and I think it's a really great value for a lot of families. So I book it a lot, but my first impressions were like, this hotel's fine. So I think that's really interesting that changed on reflection.
And talk to me about like now that you're home and you're talking with multiple clients about going to Curaçao, like what is it about Avila that keeps kind of ticking the boxes that so many families are opting into this option?
It is, I think, super hard to beat the price point that they have for 2-bedroom apartments that are right on the beach is like pretty hard to beat. Like the buildings are super close to that beach, and your location, as Lauren said, your location in Curacao is fantastic. It's not just the proximity to Willemstad. It's if you want to go explore the west end of the island, for example, like that extra 15 minutes to drive to Mambo Beach is kind of a congested area to drive. So you're like 15 minutes closer on your 45-minute drive out to explore the other end of the island. And you're near a ton of restaurants. And it's really, these apartments are like just fantastically priced and nice. They're, like when you look at the rooms, they have sort of like IKEA light furniture. There's nothing spectacular about the furniture. They're not super high end. But you're so close to the beach and you get that extra space with your kids. So I have a list of like 10 or 15 Caribbean hotels for my more budget families that I like really stand behind. And this one, I'll send people over and over, and like everyone comes home having had a great experience on the island. And then the hotel stands out for the value, the great beach, and the location. I don't know if Lauren, you disagree or agree with that.
Amazing.
No, I completely agree with every point that you made, really.
Awesome.
I think that is its appeal. And honestly, it surprised me at the size of the property, because really you're in an 18th century governor's mansion. And considering the location, I mean, of course it's not a Four Seasons, but all of those things that you talked about is exactly where it hits the points that somebody's going to want to stay there.
Okay.
I will say, because I think this is important for people to know, since you asked this question earlier, they absolutely work with travel advisors. I book them direct all the time. They do me no favors. They prioritize nothing. I will say this because, like, if they saw my name on here, they see my name in their inbox. I'm in their inbox like all the time. But I don't think anybody at that hotel knows who I am. I don't think they necessarily value the travel advisor relationship, or they've never given me the impression they have. But they will pay commission. So
I think that you have started a really important articulation of, working with travel advisors or not is not a black and white situation. It's a spectrum. Yeah. Paying commission is like step one, and that's already great. And we really appreciate that. And paying without a million follow-ups and on time is sometimes feels like it's a bonus.
Yeah.
But then that above and beyond of like, we have your email and we're willing to go above and beyond feels like the next step. And then the next step is like, oh, not only are we willing to go above and beyond and we pay commissions, we want to make the connection with travel advisors stronger. And so we are actively seeking relationship building opportunities with you. You know what I mean? Like there's a full spectrum of what it means to like partner between a hotel and a travel advisor. I have sent exactly one client to Curaçao, and they stayed at a Vila Beach hotel, and I earned a commission. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I also think it's really worth noting, because I booked them so much, those multiple bedroom apartments can go really fast. There's one or two that are even better than the others that are like right on the beach. They have like special names, like the Royal 3-bedroom apartment or something, that are often not available. But I also have emailed them several times just to double check if they had availability for a 1 or 2 bedroom. And I'd say like maybe 40% of the time, the answer is yes. So I would not always rely on the website availability. Like if you really have a client you think is the right fit, like reach out and ask, because they do sometimes have availability that's not accurately reflected on the website. So it's worth the email.
Interesting. Do they have a swimming pool?
Yes.
Is it worth talking about?
No.
Okay.
It's just there.
I just proposed this hotel yesterday, and like the one downside I flag is it almost looks like a lap pool that's just set off the beach. There's like no features, there's no platforms, there's no shallow end. It's just the swimming pool. I mean, you see the ocean from your swimming pool, but like it's nothing. The beach is the center of the show.
Great. And I've kind of gotten that vibe for most of our conversation here. Is there, what are the other kind of, whenever I talk with clients, I always talk about pros and considerations. The pool is nothing to write home about. It is there. Correct. Any other considerations at a Vila Beach hotel that you would just like, it would be good to know, to let a client know before they book it or before they arrive?
For me, and I'll let little Lors with the only things I always flag for clients are the pool and like don't expect over the top delightful service. Like they're fine. Like that's not why you're staying at a Villa Beach hotel.
Okay. I think that's really helpful to know and to understand. And if those expectations are managed prior to booking and or prior to arrival, I think that really sets clients up for success. Lauren, would you add anything in terms of like good to knows before you book it or before you arrive?
Yeah, that was my point as well. And to when I was there in April, they were working on, so if you see the blue side kind of over there, that's like an adults only section, and they were about to start renovating that.
Oh,
Nice.
very good to
Awesome.
know.
I didn't know they had an adults only section. That's nice.
Amazing. Okay. When you're starting out, one of the hardest things is delivering a polished, consistent client experience, especially when you're still finding your footing. That's where the Hive can help. It's your expertise vault where hotel details, destination insights, and advisor takeaways are captured and organized, so you always have professional, client-ready knowledge at your fingertips. With the Hive, you can sound consistent, credible, and prepared from day one, and that's what builds trust and gets clients coming back. Curious? Take a look at thehive.travel. I'm just trying to think if we...
Oh, one other thing. There's also a car rental. They have like a budget or an Avis car rental like right in the lobby. So I think it's great to have a car in Curacao. I think it's even better if you only want a car for a couple of days to go and explore. And this hotel, that makes it super easy to do that. They include an airport transfer, I think, in most of their rates. They usually don't include breakfast in their rate, so you have to pay extra for breakfast for your clients. But they also it makes it really easy to rent a car to get around. So those are other things I like to flag.
This hotel does not tick every single box, but it feels like it ticks a lot of boxes. Yes. I can see why you sell it a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. The last resort, Bauwasa Luxury Resort.
We're both smiling.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Because you're both
Laura,
very
I've been
happy
talking. Lauren, you go first. Lauren goes
Okay,
first.
well, Lee stayed here, so Lee correct me if I'm wrong, but gosh, it's just at first I didn't know what to expect because when you hear the word luxury, you don't know if you're gonna get this exclusive or it's gonna be too formal or it's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't. It is so just relaxed and casual, but it's one of those places that you just feel like almost any request could be accommodated.
Yep.
That falls in my definition of luxury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that description, Lauren. Lee, why are you smiling so big and beautiful over here?
You know, I still think about a few things about our stay at that hotel. So I stayed there long before I knew anything about travel planning. Like it was very early in my time. I didn't know. I just paid to stay there. Like I didn't tell anybody I was even like a travel advisor. I didn't know it was I didn't know Karen Bull at that point. This hotel's rep by Karen Bull. My team member just was there on a fam last week, and she also loved it. But I still think sometimes about the breakfast there. So they've got a really beautiful. Now this is a man-made lagoon. So Bauaz, when you walk in, it is designed as like a Balinese-inspired hotel, and it just sort of sits on a little peninsula. It's very secluded from the energy of Curacao. I like that because you get a break when you come home from this energetic island. Some people don't love the idea of like the man-made lagoon beach, but it's beautiful and peaceful. And I smile because I think it has some of the most like comfortable beach chairs I've ever sat in.
Okay.
I like remember I have pictures of my kids because we checked in early and our room wasn't ready. So and my kids were little at the time. I think I made my kid take a nap on the beach chair. We also stayed in literally the least expensive room that would accommodate 4 people, which is a room worth talking about. And so we didn't really want to spend a ton of time in our room. So I was like, I don't care where you rest, but it's not going to be in our room. We're going to go rest on the beach. So, and the breakfast on the beach also, I like still think about the breakfast there. It's just like a really one of those great, like the tables are in the sand. The breakfast is fantastic. If you've got clients that like a good breakfast buffet, like it knocks it out of the park.
So this area on the left, is this the man-made part that you're talking about?
Yep, and that's the whole beach area. They just built a second beach area that opened this year that you can't see in that photo, but like beyond the second beach area, like that's the beach. So it is a small but beautiful like lagoon beach.
Okay.
And you go through a residential area to actually get to the resort. So at first that was kind of weird to me. I was like, man, are we going to feel like
That's
we're in a
true.
neighborhood or, I wasn't sure. But no, once you're on the resort, you forget you even went through a residential area
Yeah.
to get there.
So
So there's the beach. Yeah, that's the beach. It's lovely and beautiful and comfortable. They
and
walk
it's
around. Yeah.
how do
Yeah.
you even tell that this is man-made?
I
Looking
think
at this, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think that it's more when you look at those aerial pictures, it's sort of the
Hmm.
smallness of it that like throws people
But the
off. But it's
property is not that big, is it?
no,
So even though the beach is small, it's not like you're fighting for
no,
space or something.
nope.
Okay. Okay. No, this is really beautiful.
Beautiful.
Um, okay, let's walk through your actual, stay and site inspection. So, talk to me about the rooms. Lee, you mentioned looking
Yep.
for the room that could accommodate. What's the room category situation? Like, are they all pretty similar? Is there a big, spectrum of what you could book for
Yeah.
clients?
So there's like 25 or 26 rooms at the hotel. Like it's not that large. Almost all of them are multiple bedroom suites. So they have or like honeymoon style rooms. So there are some like beachfront rooms for couples that are really beautiful. I don't know those rooms as well, so Lauren can probably speak to those better than me. Um, but then there's a lot of 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom villas. Some are called pool villas. Those surround the sort of natural pool area. So you have walkout access right into the pool, but it's the shared pool. Some are called private pool villas, where you're actually like in your own standalone villa with your own private pool.
Okay.
And so most of the rooms have a good deal of privacy. There are like a couple of standard rooms in the main building. I'm not sure I would ever really put anybody in those rooms unless you like me and you just are like can't afford another room but want to stay there. And they have
Yep.
one room they called the loft room that is a bed downstairs, some very steep stairs up to a loft, and a second bed upstairs. So, and it's kind of tucked back into the property with no real pool or view behind this big tree they have. So that's like the least expensive room that will accommodate a family, and there's one of them. So I stayed in that room. I was like, sign me up. And I've had clients there, but there's a lot of like you have to explain that room to them very carefully so they know what they're getting.
Okay. I found another photo here. I want to make sure that I'm interpreting these photos. Is this the main swimming pool?
No, that's a private master suite villa vibe.
It's hard to tell in these pictures.
It's really hard to tell.
I'm
This is the
struggling to
main. I think keep going down. It's hard to tell. The pool here is also not really a standout feature in my opinion. Lauren, I don't know if you like it. All right.
What I'm
Yeah.
hearing is that there aren't any hotels in Curacao that have like huge pools.
The Marriott does, right? The Marriott.
Sandals does too.
Okay. So if we're looking for a pool,
Mhm.
it's not one of these hotels that we're talking about today. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me about food and beverage, spa, service, the other components
Lauren, what
of
do
this
you
property.
think?
So for my typical client, I think the dining would be not enough variety. Um, that's just, I would probably, I mean, I don't care what I eat if I can stay there. You know what I'm saying? Personally, but I feel like my client would think that there was not enough variety for them.
So they would be looking to go off-site, or that would be like a deal breaker that they might not go there?
Well, that is something about this property. It's located a little bit further away from the action, which can be good or can be bad. You would definitely, if you wanted to explore, I feel like you definitely need a car at this property.
Okay. If we were confirming like a dining reservation for dinner off property in like to drive into the areas where most of the restaurants are, how far of a drive is it approximately?
I think maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
No, I
if
think I
that.
think it might be closer. Yeah, it says
Okay.
8 minutes on the
Oh,
Google
okay, okay.
Maps. It's very. I think it's quite close. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. But still a taxi or a rental car nonetheless.
you're not walking to another restaurant. You
Okay.
are
Mm-mm.
you are getting in a vehicle of some kind, a taxi or a transfer or your rental car.
Okay. I think that's helpful to understand.
Yeah.
Um, who would you not send here? Like
I
as
would send
much as
everybody here. No, that's not true.
I mean, as much as you love this property, it's probably not a fit for everyone.
Go ahead.
I do love it. I would not send someone here that needs to be entertained, that
That's definitely
can't
true.
that can't entertain themselves, that doesn't want that quiet tranquility, that wants they're not going to have like shows at night or, events or anything like that.
Okay. This has more of a retreat Zen kind of
Definitely.
vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But I wouldn't take that to mean that kids should not go here. I think that they do. The beach itself is very calm and peaceful. I don't know. I talk a lot in my marketing about how my kids don't need water slides; they just need hermit crabs. And this is one of those beaches that like solidified that for me. And I saw another advisor who stayed here sent a similar email out that there's something about this place. There's like little clear kayaks you can ride. There's hermit crabs everywhere. Like your kids can find joy in the peace and quiet here too. But and then you've got this really lively island to go out and explore. So if you're a person looking for like entertainment for families at the resort, you won't find it here. But if you can understand the concept of like a very peaceful, lovely, family welcoming place to stay, and then your activity comes from going out and exploring, then it's
Mhm.
like a really wonderful place for families, I think.
And you stayed, Lee, but I didn't. Honestly, when I was there, it's not like it felt overrun with kids or anything, and the kids that I did see there did seem like they were entertaining themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Two final questions for you. Um, of the five properties we've discussed today, do any of them ever make sense to be in a proposal next to each other for a client? Or are all of these so vastly different that it's like you just kind of tell the client this is the best fit for you at Curacao and leave it at that?
I will include both a Villa Beach Hotel and Boaz for a client who, because I think the same client could be happy at both of those hotels. It's just a budget question. And so I've actually had quite a few clients split their stay between those two hotels, and
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
they'll stay at a villa for 3 or 4 days, and they'll go out and explore the island, and then they'll go just spend like 2 or 3 nights at Boaz and just enjoy the resort and the
Okay.
tranquility. So that
Uh-huh.
I do sometimes. And so I'll propose both so that people can see what the two options are. I also think Lions Dive and a villa could be in the same proposal, with the compare and contrast being the location and the energy levels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree
Lauren.
with that. I agree
Yeah.
with Avila and Lions Dive. What do you think about Lions Dive and Scuba Lodge?
Yeah, I think you could do that too. I think that's the like, if you want something more affordable, do you want to be like right in the city, like in the town, and
Hmm.
then or like right on that lively beach? I think for that price point, they could probably be compared to. Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Now this is not a destination podcast, but I am curious. Are there any client profiles that you wouldn't send to Curacao as a destination?
Yes. It's what Lauren said. I do not send people to Curacao that want a high-end resort with amenities, a long walk. Look, someone who loves Turks and Caicos for the long walkable 2 mile white sand beach and like resorts with high-end restaurants. Like I do not send those clients to Curacao. You have to be comfortable with the cove-like beach, and you have to, I think, really be comfortable exploring the island and not wanting to stay put at a resort. I mean, some people would say put it Boaz, but that's not who I usually send there. I think there are other resorts in the world for that.
Mm-hmm. Lauren, is there anyone that you feel like that like this client profile like just doesn't it's not even a good match for the island itself, let alone the hotels?
Honestly, I agree with the beach aspect of it, but I feel like it could almost fit anybody. I mean, I just fell in love with this island. Like, we rented a car, we drove from one end of the island to the other. Everybody that we met, everybody that we came across was just so nice and welcoming. And I'll tell you like a super quick story. I was by myself when I went to see one of the resorts, and I had to put gas in the rental car. Well, their gas, I mean, they have the same kind of nozzles that we do, but everything was a different color and it wasn't labeled. I had to go to the window and ask the lady what kind of gas to put in my car. And she like came out there, helped me, was so patient, so kind. I can't recommend it enough.
Honestly, I love that because it is an island that is not like where mass tourism is heading. I feel like it's a little bit unknown.
Yeah.
And so knowing that there kind of is something for everyone, provided that they, what they're envisioning for their vacation matches with where we're sending them.
I think
That's
it's like
super cool.
provided that they actually want to see the destination. And I think I get a little jaded sometimes that people want to go to the Caribbean not to actually see a destination. And I don't think Curacao is the right destination for that. Like, go there because you want to see something cool and see a neat island,
That's kind of what I was thinking, because I haven't been, so I can't say personally. But if you have a client that's like, I'm not interested in leaving the resort, I'm not interested in exploring, I'm interested in arriving somewhere, relaxing for a few days and coming home, then like, can you go to Curacao? Yes,
Sure.
you can. Does that make the most sense? Like, there might be other destinations that are, that tick that box a little bit easier.
What I think.
And I think that speaks to why the majority of the resorts are not all inclusive, because people are out there seeing the island.
I love that. Lauren and Lee, I really enjoyed this conversation so much. I don't know that Curacao was really on a list of places that I wanted to visit, but now
it is now.
It feels like it's way more my vibe than some other Caribbean islands.
It would be your vibe more than other Caribbean islands, because you actually want to like see a place and have a culture, and I think you would really like it there. Yeah,
amazing. Well, thanks for that. Now my list is longer. Love that. Thank you both so much for your time and for sharing all these insights. And I hope to have you both back on the podcast soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Hive Mind podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. And if you know a friend or colleague who would enjoy this, please share it with them. If you would like insights from this episode landing in your inbox each week, join our newsletter at thehive.travel/podcast. And remember, if you'd like to contribute to a future episode, whether it's sharing your destination expertise or your experience touring hotels, just head to thehive.travel/podcast to learn more and express your interest. We'd love to have you join the conversation. Until next time.